I'm Terrell Cunningham.
My name is Demarcus Bush, and our project is population growth. It's very important to pay close attention to the population growth in the United States because we don't want to be a country that gets as bad as China and India. Scientists have already made a warning out to humanity called the stabilizing of global growth. China and India are facing social and economic problems due to their high population. They are facing limited resources and high pollution. This also leads to many people living in poverty and not being able to get free medical assistance. All of that being said, overpopulation is also a big strain on the earth, and it will also take up a lot of land. With the increasing population in the United States, that also increases the demand for food, water, housing, energy, land, healthcare, and also transportation. And this will have a large effect on the ecological degradation, and this can cause an increase in conflict all over the country.
Our data was collected from the U.S. Census Bureau and Statistica.com. What our data shows is the predicted population of the U.S. up until 2025 and the predicted population of China and India to 2035. The U.S. in the next 10 years will see an overall uptrend with regards to population growth. This isn't the worst thing because the U.S. doesn't have a population in the billions, but it is still problematic for generations down the road. With global warming already a concern for scientists, we must monitor our population to keep Earth habitable for generations to come. Countries like China and India, where their pollution is indeed in the billions. We see India will likely not see any stoppage in population growth over the next 10 years. China's population is increasing slightly, but will likely be decreasing by 2030. Understanding population growth and having models to predict population growth is important because without these models, places like China will likely not be trying to fix the population problems that they have today.
Model was done by taking the points of the population and calculating the trend line of the population by using Excel. What our model showed us is that although the population is increasing in the US, the overall change in population is still decreasing yearly. The data that we have shows the overall change in population has been decreasing slowly over the past 10 years in the United States, even though the population growth as a total is increasing. This method for population can be used with any size and range. To solve the constant C when trying to solve this differential equation, we must choose a boundary condition that has an X and a Y coordinate to plug into the solved equation. For our boundary condition, we use the point at t equals 9, which represents the year 2023, and our Y coordinate is at 1,440,000.
Although our model is only the US population, this model can be used by any country with any amount of people. This will likely be beneficial to calculate the population of the US hundreds of years from now, but isn't too big of a deal because the US population still having a population in the millions and not billions. When we plugged in the constant C into our model, we got the total population in the United States to be roughly 334 million. We were able to solve the differential equation by hand using four different methods shown above. The four different methods are substitution method shown on the top left, the linear equation method shown on the top right, the separation of variables method shown on the bottom left, and solving our differential equation using exact equations on the bottom right. We were then also able to solve for our boundary condition using MATLAB shown on the bottom right picture.
Our objective was to use a model to predict population growth in a certain year. The research that we have done shows how to calculate the population growth rate for the future. The population growth can really impact every environmental change. The population can also affect all of our food, water, and the rest of our resources. Keeping track of the population also helps the scientists understand what is really causing the population to change and grow every year, because there needs to be a strong balance between population and the environment. Life expectancy and birth rate is also really important to follow along with so that they can get the most accurate calculation. People also need to be encouraged not to have more than two children in the United States so that we don't become overpopulated. The population is also extremely important because workers are needed to help keep and maintain the infrastructure and services of the United States. To do this, the population needs to keep and maintain a nice, happy medium.